when life suddenly starts to feel empty, when people slowly drift away, when nights start becoming longer and the silence around you feels heavier than your own thoughts, you often assume it's your fault. You think maybe this is some kind of punishment, maybe life is taking something away from you. But the truth is far more mysterious, far more powerful. Carl Jung believed that loneliness does not come from being alone. It comes from not being able to express your deepest truth. And when life isolates you, it's not to break you. It's to force you into a conversation with the parts of yourself you've been avoiding for years. There comes a moment when your old life stops working. The people you entertained no longer resonate with your spirit. The places you used to run to no longer comfort you. And suddenly, you find yourself sitting in a room, staring at the walls, wondering why everything feels so distant, so disconnected. But this distance is not a punishment. It is an invitation into your own shadow. Jung's shadow is the part of you that holds your hidden fears, your buried emotions, your unhealed wounds, your suppressed strengths. And loneliness is the doorway through which your shadow finally walks toward you. In the beginning, this feels painful, almost unbearable. You wonder why you're suddenly remembering old traumas, why forgotten insecurities are rising again, why emotions you thought you had outgrown are returning like waves crashing on an empty shore. But this is the shadow speaking. This is the voice you silenced when you stayed busy with people, noise, and distractions. Loneliness strips away the distractions so you can finally hear yourself. It's in these quiet hours that your soul picks up the pieces you've scattered throughout your life, the parts of you you hid to be accepted, the dreams you buried to survive, the truths you swallowed to avoid conflict. Slowly, the silence becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, you don't just see your wounds, you see your forgotten power. You begin to realize that everything you were chasing from the outside world, love, validation, support, strength, was always sitting silently within you. It was just waiting for the world around you to quiet down. When people leave, your shadow shows up. When life pauses, your inner power awakens. When you feel most abandoned, a deeper part of you finally finds you. Jung believed that the moments of deep isolation are actually moments of inner birth. The old identity breaks, the old patterns collapse, the old self dissolves. And in that breakdown, you meet the self that was always meant to emerge. The self that is not dependent on anyone, the self that doesn't need permission to exist, the self that can sit in silence and still feel whole. Loneliness is the training ground where your inner power learns to walk. It teaches you resilience, self-respect, emotional depth, and spiritual clarity. It teaches you how to stop begging for love and start generating it from your own heart. You learn to sit with your pain without running. You learn to feel your emotions without judging them. You learn to trust your intuition without seeking approval. And slowly, something remarkable begins to happen. The silence that once scared you becomes a sanctuary. The emptiness that once hurt you becomes a space for growth. The loneliness that once felt like punishment becomes the birthplace of your transformation. Because the truth is simple. You are not being left alone. You are being returned to yourself.
As you sit with this solitude, you start noticing things you never paid attention to before. The thoughts that once scurried through your mind without notice now demand your awareness. The emotions you buried under daily routines begin to surface. Anger, sadness, fear, and even shame. They all come knocking, not to punish you, but to be recognized. Jung called this process shadow work. It's uncomfortable because it asks you to face the parts of yourself you've hidden from others, and even from yourself. Yet this confrontation is exactly what transforms loneliness from a wound into a wellspring of strength. At first, you may resist. You may try to distract yourself with social media, work, or any noise that keeps the quiet at bay. But the more you avoid, the more persistent the solitude becomes. It does not give up because your inner self has urgent messages for you. It whispers, "Stop running, look deeper, meet me." And when you finally pause, when you finally stop the endless external search for meaning, you begin to notice a subtle shift. Your inner voice, once drowned out by the chaos of daily life, becomes clear. You start understanding patterns in your thoughts, recognizing repeated behaviors, and identifying beliefs that no longer serve you. Loneliness becomes not a void, but a lens through which you see your authentic self more clearly. Every time you sit with your shadow, a fragment of your hidden power awakens. The courage you didn't know you had begins to emerge. The creativity buried under fear begins to flow. The love you kept seeking from others starts to bloom within. And slowly, a realization dawns. All along, the world never took anything from you. You simply needed to return to yourself to claim what was always yours. Jung emphasized that shadow work is not about fixing or eliminating the darkness within, but about integrating it. Every fear, every regret, every flaw holds a gift when recognized and embraced. When you lean into your loneliness instead of fleeing, you are embracing your shadow. And with every embrace, you reclaim a piece of your inner power. This is why loneliness feels so heavy, because it's carrying something immensely valuable. The world may call it emptiness, but your soul knows it as a threshold where the old self dissolves and the true self emerges. The more you allow yourself to feel, to observe, and to understand, the more your energy shifts. The fear of being alone diminishes, replaced by a quiet confidence. You realize that you are capable of standing alone, of facing yourself without fear, and of creating a life from your inner depth rather than seeking it externally. This process is subtle, often invisible to the outside world, but internally, it is profound. You may find yourself laughing at things you never noticed before, crying without shame, or making choices that align with your soul instead of your ego. And gradually, your relationship with solitude changes. It's no longer something to escape, but something to honor. Loneliness becomes a teacher, a guide, a sacred mirror, reflecting both your shadow and your light. And in that reflection, you see your potential. Not the potential the world expects of you, but the potential you have always carried. This is the power of being alone. It strips away illusions, confronts you with your truths, and in doing so, it sets you free. Freedom does not come from others. It comes from embracing the totality of your being, the shadow and the light, the pain and the joy, the absence and the presence. And when you reach this understanding, when the silence no longer frightens you, you discover that you have been waiting all along, not for someone else, not for circumstances to change, but for yourself to finally arrive.
As you continue to sit with yourself, you start noticing the subtle ways your inner power begins to manifest. The things that once seemed impossible now feel achievable. Decisions that used to terrify you now carry a quiet certainty. You realize that every moment of loneliness, every heartbeat of silence has been quietly building the foundation of your strength. Jung believed that this is the moment when your psyche starts to integrate, when the fragmented pieces of your personality begin to align. Your shadow, once feared and rejected, is now an ally. Every fear you confront, every regret you embrace, and every uncomfortable emotion you allow yourself to feel becomes fuel for growth. Loneliness is no longer a punishment, it is a forge. In this forge, your resilience is tempered, your clarity is sharpened, and your sense of purpose is crystallized. You may notice how your relationships begin to shift as well, not because people change, but because you do. You no longer seek validation externally because you are grounded in your own acceptance. You attract those who resonate with your energy, who see and honor the full spectrum of your being, light and shadow alike. The voices of judgment, doubt, and comparison that once dominated your mind begin to fade. They lose power because you have learned to sit with yourself fully and unapologetically. Solitude teaches you to trust yourself when no one else does, to speak your truth when the world expects silence, to move in the direction of your deepest desires, even when it terrifies you. Jung taught that true individuation, the process of becoming your authentic self, can only occur when you face the unconscious, when you embrace your shadow. And loneliness is the doorway into this unconscious, a sacred space where your inner power quietly awakens. As you navigate this inner world, you begin to notice the gifts hidden within your past pain. The mistakes that once haunted you now offer wisdom. The losses that once broke you now offer insight. The moments of betrayal, disappointment, and fear become teachers, showing you what matters, what does not, and what is truly yours. With every discovery, your inner voice grows stronger, more confident, more unwavering. You begin to see that your solitude is not a void, but a reservoir of creativity, of intuition, of courage, and of love. And this reservoir is endless because it is sourced from your own essence. The beauty of this journey is that it does not require anyone's approval. You do not need to explain your process, justify your choices, or seek permission to exist fully. Every moment alone becomes an act of reclaiming yourself. Every moment of silence becomes a hymn to your inner power. And slowly, imperceptibly, the fear that once accompanied loneliness transforms into reverence. Reverence for the self you are discovering, the strength you are awakening, and the depth of your own soul. You realize that you are not incomplete because you are alone. You are complete precisely because you have faced yourself, because you have welcomed your shadow, and because you have allowed your inner power to rise. In this sacred solitude, the universe is not punishing you. It is conspiring with you, giving you the space, the silence, and the time to become the person you were always meant to be.
And as you embrace this understanding, you begin to notice a remarkable transformation unfolding within. The restlessness that once haunted you now softens into patience. The longing for external validation shifts into deep self-acceptance. You start to understand that your worth was never dependent on someone else's presence, approval, or recognition. Every tear you shed in solitude, every sleepless night spent wrestling with your thoughts, every moment of doubt has been preparing you for this awakening. Jung believed that true strength emerges not in comfort, but in the willingness to face the unknown parts of yourself. And in the stillness of loneliness, the unknown parts of you are finally revealed. You see, loneliness is not the absence of connection, it is the presence of truth. It is the mirror reflecting your essence without distraction, without compromise, without mask. When you stop running from yourself, when you stop numbing the discomfort, you begin to access a depth of power that cannot be shaken by the outside world. This power is quiet but unbreakable. It is steady even when storms rage around you. It is gentle even when life demands harshness. And it is profoundly liberating. The more you honor this solitude, the more your inner world expands. You discover creativity you never knew existed. You uncover insights that guide your decisions with clarity and wisdom. You feel an energy within you that carries you through challenges with resilience and grace. The moments that once felt like punishment now feel like blessing. The isolation that once felt heavy now feels like a sacred invitation, an opportunity to meet yourself fully and lovingly. And with this meeting comes a remarkable clarity. The universe is never punishing you. It is simply clearing the space so you can step into your own power. It is removing distractions, forcing introspection, and encouraging integration. Your shadow, once feared, is now honored. Your inner strength, once dormant, is now awakened. Your potential, once hidden, is now emerging. And as this realization settles in, you notice how your life begins to align in ways that once seemed impossible. Opportunities appear, not because you chase them, but because you have become magnetic through your authenticity. Relationships deepen, not because you seek approval, but because you now radiate self-acceptance. And perhaps most importantly, you find peace, not from external circumstances, but from an unwavering connection to your own soul. So remember this: loneliness is not your punishment. It is the birth of your inner power. It is the moment the universe conspires to help you remember who you truly are. When you sit with yourself, face your shadow, and embrace your emotions fully, you are not breaking. You are awakening. You are not lost. You are returning home. Home to your strength, home to your clarity, home to your deepest truth. And in this home, you are whole. You are complete. You are alive. This journey of solitude, shadow work, and self-discovery is a gift, and it is yours. Trust it. Honor it. Step into your power.
And always remember, loneliness is not your punishment, it is the awakening of your inner power. Every quiet moment, every pause, every moment spent with yourself is the universe guiding you to your true strength. Embrace your shadow, honor your emotions, and trust the journey within. Your solitude is not emptiness, it is the birthplace of your transformation, your clarity, and your wholeness. Thank you for being here and taking this journey with us. This is Gentle Mind Psychology, helping you reconnect with your inner self, awaken your true potential, and find peace in every moment of life.